The Galactic Council had called for a special session. Representatives from the most powerful and ancient species in the universe had gathered in the Council's massive floating headquarters. The room was filled with tension as the representatives of countless worlds, from distant star systems, took their seats. They were there for one reason: Earth. For the past decade, Earth's growing influence in the galaxy had been a topic of heated debate. While humans were known for their intelligence and creativity, they also had a reputation for being unpredictable and aggressive. Their rapid technological advancements had stunned the galaxy, but many feared they were too unstable to be trusted. The Galactic Council had been watching them closely, and today they would decide Earth's fate. The trial had begun. The representatives of the Council, beings of ancient knowledge and power, sat in judgment. Earth's leaders, a small but determined group of humans, stood before them, trying to defend their home planet's actions. The accusations were severe. Earth had been expanding into what the Council had deemed forbidden space, areas that were protected by ancient treaties. Humans had also developed new technologies that seemed to break the universal laws of warfare, using unconventional methods to defend their borders. "The human race is reckless," declared Kaldor, the elder of the Xanthera species, a race of tall, silver-skinned beings who had watched over the galaxy for millennia. "They act without thought, invading systems and disregarding galactic peace. This must be stopped. Peace cannot come from a race that thrives on war and expansion," said Alera, a representative of the Vorta. She was a sleek, reptilian creature whose cold eyes scanned the humans standing before her. "The human mind is unpredictable. Their thirst for resources has no limit. If we allow them to continue, they will destroy the balance of the galaxy." The human delegation stood firm. Among them was General Marcus Hale, a leader who had long fought for Earth's place in the galaxy. His expression was calm, but inside, he was burning with a mix of frustration and defiance. "We do not seek war," General Hale spoke with authority. "We seek survival. We have faced countless challenges on our own planet. Natural disasters, plagues, and invasions from species even more aggressive than the Council could imagine. But we've always found a way to adapt and survive. We ask for your understanding, not your judgment." His words echoed in the massive chamber, but the Council was unmoved. Earth's past actions had left a deep mistrust in the hearts of many species. The humans had been too bold, too fast, and too unpredictable. The Council's decision was inevitable. After hours of debate, the representatives voted. The decision was unanimous. Earth would be sanctioned. The embargo would be placed on Earth's trade, isolating the planet from the rest of the galaxy. Its weapons would be destroyed, and all military technologies would be dismantled. Earth would be forced to comply with the Council's peacekeeping protocols, and failure to do so would result in the most severe consequences. As the Council's decision was announced, General Hale and his team felt the weight of the judgment. Earth would be cut off, left to fend for itself in a galaxy that now viewed it as a threat. The humans in the room exchanged glances, each of them realizing the enormity of what was about to happen. The Council had underestimated one thing: humanity's refusal to back down. The Council members stood, signaling the end of the trial. Earth's representatives were dismissed, and the humans filed out of the Grand Chamber. As they stepped into the cold, metallic halls of the Galactic Council headquarters, General Hale's mind raced. The decision had been made, but this was far from over. The galaxy had only seen a glimpse of Earth's strength. Humanity had been branded a menace, but it was not done. Not by a long shot. The decision of the Galactic Council was final. Earth, once seen as a rising star in the galaxy, was now isolated. Its resources blocked, its technologies stripped. The humans had been punished, and the galaxy was supposed to move on. But something deep inside Earth's leaders stirred. A quiet, burning fury had taken root. General Marcus Hale sat in the war room, staring at the holographic display in front of him. The bright blue image of Earth glowed faintly against the darkness of space. Around the table, Other members of the Alliance for Earth's Sovereignty, AES, sat in silence. Their faces were grave, their minds focused. No one spoke. They all understood what had to be done. For years, Earth had quietly observed the Galactic Council. It was a massive organization, supposedly formed to protect peace and maintain balance. But after the trial, something had become clear. The Council was not neutral. It was corrupt, driven by its own desires and hidden agendas. The truth had come to light. A small group of Earth's top spies had uncovered a secret that no one had expected. The Galactic Council, under the surface of its high ideals, had made deals with powerful alien corporations to strip Earth of its natural resources. These corporations had targeted Earth's unique minerals and rare elements, the very things that had drawn the Council's attention to Earth in the first place. The embargo wasn't about peace. It was about profit. One by one, the humans in the war room began to understand the full scope of the betrayal. Earth had been targeted, not for its actions, but for its resources. The same resources that could be used to fuel the galactic economy were now locked away, controlled by the Council and its corporate allies. Humanity had been caught in a web of greed and manipulation, and the Council's judgment was just a cover-up. General Hale's hands clenched into fists. The betrayal was a knife in the heart of every human. But there was no time for anger. There was only time for action. "We've been played," said Commander Riley Thompson, one of the top strategists in the AES. "They've been using the Council to take what's ours. It's time we take control back." Her words hit hard. The room went quiet as everyone processed the gravity of the situation. Earth had no choice now. The war they had tried to avoid was now unavoidable. "We can't go to war with them directly," said Dr. Leela Chung, Earth's leading scientist and inventor. "They have fleets, weapons, and technology we can't compete with. But we have something they don't: our resourcefulness. We'll need to think outside the box." General Hale nodded. He had always trusted the ingenuity of humanity, and now, more than ever, he believed in it. The AES would need to act quickly, quietly, and efficiently. They needed to level the playing field. For the next few weeks, Earth's scientists, engineers, and military leaders worked in secret. They gathered in hidden bases, underground bunkers, and abandoned facilities. The resources they had left were precious, but they would not go to waste. In the darkness of Earth's defense networks, a new weapon was being created. Meanwhile, Earth's diplomatic envoys traveled secretly to the furthest corners of the galaxy, reaching out to other species who had long been oppressed by the Galactic Council. They spoke of freedom, of taking back control. Slowly, but surely, the message spread. There were alien races who, like humanity, had been forced into submission by the Council's rules. They, too, were tired of being controlled. One by one, small but powerful alliances began to form. The humans were not alone. Others had been waiting for someone to stand up to the Council. Earth had unwittingly sparked a rebellion across the stars. But the Council still did not know the full extent of what was happening. They believed Earth was broken, its spirit crushed. They thought their plan had worked. They were wrong. Earth wasn't broken. It was just getting started. General Hale stood before the AES members once again. The time for hiding was over. "The galaxy will see what happens when you push humanity too far. We won't just survive. We'll make them regret ever thinking they could control us." As the final plans were made, a fleet of Earth's new ships silently gathered in the shadows of their home world. With new technology and new allies, humanity's fight for freedom had begun. The Council's betrayal had lit a fire in Earth's heart, and that fire would burn brighter than the stars. The tension in Earth's military headquarters was palpable. For the past several months, the Alliance for Earth's Sovereignty, AES, had been preparing for a conflict no one wanted, but everyone knew was coming. General Marcus Hale stood at the front of the room, his eyes scanning the holographic map of the galaxy. The Galactic Council had underestimated humanity's resilience, thinking the embargo would crush them. What they didn't know was that Earth's response would be something they never saw coming. "This is it," General Hale said, his voice steady but full of determination. "The Council will strike first, thinking we're weak. We'll show them that humanity is far stronger than they've ever imagined." Around the room, the leaders of the AES nodded in agreement. Earth's new fleet, a combination of human ingenuity and recovered alien technology, was ready. It wasn't the biggest fleet in the galaxy, nor was it the most advanced, but it was fueled by something far more powerful, a drive to survive and protect their home. The plan was simple but daring. Earth would launch a surprise attack on the Galactic Council's forces, using stealth technology and precise tactics. The Council's fleets, large and intimidating, were scattered across different sectors of the galaxy, maintaining their supposed control over lesser species and planets. But they didn't expect a planet like Earth, supposedly isolated and helpless, to strike back with such force. The first target was a fleet sent to blockade Earth. The Council had positioned their ships in orbit, waiting for the final moment to completely shut down Earth's economy and prevent any future resistance. They thought they were in full control. They were wrong. Earth's fleet, hidden behind a large asteroid field near Earth's orbit, moved silently, slipping past the Council's radar using the new stealth technology developed by Dr. Leela Chung and her team. The ships, small and fast, took position without making the sound. On the bridge of the flagship, General Hale watched the countdown on the display. "Target locked," Commander Riley Thompson announced. "Ready to fire when you give the word." General Hale took a deep breath, his mind focused. This was their moment. A single strike could shift the balance of power. He nodded. "Fire." In a flash, the silence was broken by the sharp crack of energy weapons. Earth's fleet unleashed a devastating attack, using precision-guided missiles and disruptor beams to disable the Council's blockade. The ships had been designed not for brute force, but for efficiency, hitting the critical systems of each enemy vessel. The Council ships were caught off guard, their massive fleets unable to respond quickly enough. The first wave of attacks took the Council by surprise. Their ships were damaged, disabled, and many were forced to retreat, leaving Earth's fleet with a major victory. News of the attack spread quickly through the galaxy. The first strike by humanity had not only been successful, but it was also something the galaxy had never seen before: a coordinated, intelligent, and efficient use of force by a species once thought weak. On the surface of Earth, the mood was a mix of relief and determination. The attack had been a success, but there was still much to be done. The Galactic Council would not take this blow lying down. They would retaliate, and Earth would need to be ready. Back in the war room, the atmosphere was tense but hopeful. "We've shown them that we're not just a threat. They underestimated us," General Hale said, his voice full of pride. "This is just the beginning. We will not stop until Earth is free." The AES had made their statement, but the galaxy's response was swift. Within hours, a message was broadcast to every corner of the galaxy, coming directly from the Galactic Council's leaders. The message was full of anger and threats, warning Earth that any further actions would result in complete annihilation. The Council had underestimated humanity before, but now they were making it clear that they would not allow Earth's rebellion to continue. However, humanity's response was not one of fear. Instead, it was one of unity and resolve. The AES leaders knew that the fight ahead would not be easy, but they also knew that they had something the Council could never take away: the unwavering will to protect their home and the strength to fight back. The first strike had been a victory, but the war was far from over. As Earth's fleet prepared for the next stage of the conflict, the galaxy was left in shock. Humanity had shown its teeth, and the Council now knew that this fight would be unlike any they had faced before. And so, with Earth's first strike, the battle for freedom had begun. The galaxy would never be the same. The war had only just begun, but Earth's first strike had already shaken the foundations of the Galactic Council. The shockwaves were still being felt across the galaxy as news of humanity's victory spread. But General Marcus Hale and his team knew that one successful attack was just the beginning. The real challenge was yet to come. "We've proven that we can fight, but now we need to outsmart them," General Hale said, standing before the war room's glowing map. "The Council will retaliate. They'll come at us with everything they've got. But they've made a critical mistake. They underestimated our greatest strength." He paused, looking around the room. Every face in the room, from Earth's military leaders to its brightest scientists, was filled with determination. "We have something the Council doesn't: ingenuity. We don't just follow rules. We create new ones." At that moment, Dr. Leela Chang, the brilliant scientist who had played a key role in Earth's early victories, stepped forward. She was a woman of quiet confidence, her mind constantly working on new ideas. "I've been thinking," she said, "and I believe we can take this to the next level. The Council relies too heavily on their advanced technology and their ability to control the battlefield. But what if we could disrupt their systems from the inside?" The room fell silent. What Dr. Chang was suggesting was risky, perhaps even dangerous. But it was also brilliant. What if we could create a weapon that doesn't just attack them directly, but instead targets their communication networks and their fleet's central control systems? She continued, "We could turn their own technology against them." General Hale's eyes lit up with understanding. "A weapon that disrupts their command structure, that could cripple their fleets without a single shot being fired." "Yes," Dr. Chang replied, her voice steady. "We can create a network of viruses, artificial intelligence programs designed to hack into their systems. If we launch them at key points across their fleets and installations, it could cause chaos. They wouldn't know where to turn." The idea was daring, but it was exactly the kind of out-of-the-box thinking humanity needed. The AES didn't have the massive fleets or overwhelming firepower of the Council, but they had something else: the ability to adapt, to think and act faster than their enemies expected. Over the next few weeks, Dr. Chang and her team worked tirelessly. They built an advanced artificial intelligence program, codenamed Prometheus, designed to infiltrate the enemy's technology. It wasn't a traditional weapon. Instead of physically destroying things, Prometheus was capable of subtly sabotaging, rerouting, and hijacking the Council's most important systems. When the program was finally ready, the AES moved swiftly. A small, highly skilled group of hackers and military engineers launched a covert operation to deploy Prometheus into the heart of the Council's network. They used a combination of stealth ships and encrypted signals to hide their movements, making sure the Council's spies wouldn't detect them before it was too late. As the team worked in the shadows, General Hale and his top commanders focused on the next phase of the plan. It wasn't just about breaking the Council's systems. It was about sending a message. Humanity wasn't just a threat to the Council. They were a force of change. When the team finished the deployment, Earth waited in tense anticipation. It would take time for the virus to spread through the enemy systems. For now, all they could do was wait. The longer it took, the more vulnerable the Council's fleets and command centers would become. The first signs of success came in a matter of days. Ships that had been previously unresponsive to commands suddenly began to malfunction. Some ships lost their ability to communicate with their commanders. Others found their weapon systems disabled at the worst possible moment. Prometheus was doing its job. The real turning point came when the Council's central fleet, the one tasked with leading the retaliation against Earth, fell into complete disarray. Half of the fleet's ships were now adrift in space, their controls seized by Prometheus. The other half found their weapon systems randomly shutting down, leaving them defenseless. The news reached the AES quickly. The first large-scale use of Earth's ingenuity had worked. The Council's response was chaotic, with leaders scrambling to regain control of their own forces. It was the perfect opportunity for Earth to launch a follow-up strike. General Hale stood in the command center, watching the reports come in. His face was grim but hopeful. "We've turned the tables," he said. They've lost control of their own fleet. Now we hit them where it hurts. The combination of Earth's advanced technology and its unrelenting drive for survival had created a new kind of weapon. Not one of brute force, but one of intelligence and strategy. The galaxy had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt, to innovate, and to fight back. As the Council's fleets continued to fall into chaos, the rest of the galaxy watched in disbelief. Humanity wasn't just surviving. It was thriving, using its brains instead of its brawn to outsmart an enemy far more powerful. The genius of humanity had just begun to show its full power. The Galactic Council was in chaos. After the success of Earth's first strike and the unexpected disruption caused by Prometheus, the Council's confidence was shattered. For the first time in centuries, their once unquestioned control over the galaxy was slipping away. Fleets that had once been feared now drifted aimlessly, unable to respond to their commander's orders. The once mighty machines of the Council were showing signs of weakness, and no one knew how to stop it. But the Council wasn't the only one struggling. On Earth, General Marcus Hale and the AES leaders knew that despite the damage they had caused, the war was far from over. The Council would not allow such an embarrassment to go unanswered. They would retaliate with everything they had. "We've made a dent in their armor," General Hale said, his voice filled with determination. "But they're not going to just sit back and let us win. They'll come after us harder than before. We need to be ready." The room was filled with the quiet hum of strategy discussions as the AES leaders gathered around the holographic table. Commander Riley Thompson was already analyzing the next steps. "We've struck them where it hurts, but now we need to push our advantage," she said. "The Council's fleet is damaged, but it's not destroyed. They'll regroup and try to retaliate. We need to launch a series of small but coordinated attacks to keep them off balance." It was a risky move, but Earth's forces had learned a valuable lesson. Speed and surprise were their strongest weapons. The larger fleets of the Council might be able to crush them in direct combat, but Earth's ships were small, fast, and agile. The AES had learned how to fight the Council on their terms, not the other way around. Meanwhile, Dr. Leela Chang had been working on another breakthrough. Earth's scientists had discovered that the Council's command systems were more vulnerable than they had originally thought. Prometheus had only been the beginning. There was another piece of technology, something that could turn the tide of the war completely. "We have a chance to take out their central command," Dr. Chung explained to the room. "I've been working on a device that could disrupt the Council's ability to coordinate their forces on a galactic scale. If we can deploy it to their main relay stations, it could be the final blow." The device was still in development, but the team had a prototype. It was small, efficient, and most importantly, it could be activated remotely. They didn't need to strike a specific fleet or battle station. They could cripple the Council's entire command infrastructure in one fell swoop. The AES leaders agreed to launch another mission, one that would not only target the Council's fleet, but also their central command hubs. If this mission succeeded, the Council would lose the ability to coordinate their forces. They would be left in the dark, and Earth would have a chance to solidify its position in the galaxy. As Earth's ships moved into position, the atmosphere was tense. The mission was dangerous, and there was no guarantee of success. But General Hale had learned something important in this war. Humanity's greatest strength was its willingness to fight for survival, no matter the odds. "We've come this far, and we're not stopping now," he said. "We do this together, or we don't do it at all. But I believe in all of you. I believe in Earth, and I know we can win this." The fleet moved swiftly through space, taking advantage of every opportunity for stealth. Their destination was a large relay station located on the outer rim of Council-controlled space. It was heavily guarded, but Earth's ships were quick and precise. They slipped past enemy radar, using their newfound technology to avoid detection. When they reached the station, the team began their mission. The device, a small, powerful tool that had been carefully designed by Dr. Chung, was deployed at the heart of the relay hub. It began its work quietly, slowly, and steadily, sending waves of disruption through the Council's entire command structure. At first, the effects were subtle. Communications began to falter, and the flow of orders between the Council's fleets slowed to a crawl. But then, the chaos began. As the device continued to work, entire sections of the Council's command network went offline. Ships that had been part of the coordinated fleet now found themselves isolated, unable to communicate with one another. It was the beginning of the end for the Council's organized defense. The fleet returned to Earth, ready to regroup and prepare for the next phase. Earth had just made a bold move, and now the Council was reeling from the effects. The balance of power had shifted once again, and this time it was clear that humanity was no longer a side player in the galaxy. They had earned their place at the table. But the war was not over yet. The Council still had resources and power, and they would not give up easily. General Hale knew that Earth's victory was far from certain. But with each success, the people of Earth grew stronger and more united. "Earth is not done," Hale said, his voice full of resolve. "The galaxy has no idea what's coming next." And with that, humanity's fight for survival continued. The turning tide had begun. The galaxy was on edge. After Earth's daring strikes and the disruption caused by their technology, the Galactic Council found itself cornered. It had been forced to regroup, and its fleets had been scattered. But one thing was certain: the Council would retaliate, and it would be more devastating than anything Earth had faced so far. General Marcus Hale and the AES knew the final showdown was approaching, and it would determine the fate of humanity. The war was no longer just a struggle for Earth's survival. It was a fight for freedom across the galaxy. The message had spread. Other planets, once oppressed by the Council's rule, had begun to rally behind Earth. There was a spark of hope in places that had long been silenced. And now, Earth was not alone. In the war room, the AES leaders gathered to discuss their next move. The Council had made it clear that it would not back down. Their fleets were assembling, ready for one final push. General Hale studied the holographic map of the galaxy. The Council was gathering its forces near a massive asteroid belt that had long been a key strategic location. If they managed to regain control there, it would give them the advantage they needed to crush Earth's resistance. "We have to strike first," Hale said firmly. "We can't let them regroup. This is our chance to finish this." Commander Riley Thompson nodded. "We've got new allies now, and we've learned from every battle. Our ships are faster, our technology more advanced. We have the element of surprise on our side." Dr. Leela Chang added, "And we have the weapon that will end this. The device we created to disrupt their command systems. It worked before, and it will work again. But this time, we'll use it to cripple their fleet completely." The final plan was set into motion. Earth's fleet, now bolstered by reinforcements from the newly formed alliance of free worlds, would make a coordinated strike on the Council's main fleet. The goal was simple: disable the Council's command network and destroy their remaining warships. As the fleets made their way toward the asteroid belt, tension filled the air. Earth's ships moved in a tight formation, coordinated perfectly, each one ready to play its part in the mission. The forces gathered for this battle were not the largest, but they were the most determined. Humanity had been underestimated once before, and now it would prove that it would not back down. The battle began with a series of lightning-fast strikes. Earth's fleet, using its newfound stealth technology and speed, hit the Council's ships before they even had a chance to respond. Disruptor beams and missiles, designed for precision, struck key systems, crippling the Council's forces one by one. But the Council was not without its own tricks. Their ships, although damaged, fought back fiercely. The final showdown was not just about technology. It was about willpower. Earth's forces fought with the fire of their people's spirit, their desire to protect their home. The Council's forces fought with the arrogance of those who believed they were untouchable. As the battle raged, Earth's special forces launched their most crucial mission yet, a strike against the Council's flagship. If they could take it down, they would shatter the Council's leadership and cripple their command. The mission was dangerous, but there was no choice. General Hale knew that this was the only way to secure victory. The team, led by Commander Riley Thompson, infiltrated the flagship. They used every trick at their disposal: stealth, sabotage, and surprise. The Council's flagship, massive and imposing, was surrounded by a fleet of protective ships, but Earth's forces had learned to fight smarter, not just harder. Inside the flagship, the team planted the device: Prometheus, the very tool that had brought the Council to its knees before. This time, it would completely sever the Council's control over their fleet. The countdown began. Back in space, General Hale watched as the final phase of the operation unfolded. Earth's fleet continued to disable the Council's ships, one by one. Their command network, once powerful and impenetrable, began to break down. The Council's fleet was now unable to communicate, their ships in disarray. Then, the moment came. The flagship fell silent. The command center was completely cut off from the rest of the fleet. The Council's leader, a man known for his arrogance and cruelty, was powerless. The tide had turned. As Earth began its recovery, it wasn't just about rebuilding cities or military fleets. It was about rebuilding trust. There were still divisions between species, still resentment left from the Council's reign. But humanity had shown that it was willing to fight for something better, something worth believing in. "We've come a long way," General Hale said, addressing the leaders in the council room. "We've fought together. Now we must lead together. The future of this galaxy depends on us, and we won't fail." Outside the council room, the stars shone brightly. Earth had survived the greatest threat it had ever known. And now it had the chance to guide the galaxy into a new era of peace, cooperation, and hope. The fight for Earth's survival had been won, but the fight for a better future would be fought not with weapons, but with the unity of all the free peoples of the galaxy. And in that unity, Earth's greatest strength would be shown. Humanity had fought for its survival, but now it would fight for something more. A galaxy where freedom, peace, and hope could thrive. And as General Hale looked toward the future, he knew that Earth's place in the galaxy had been forever changed. Humanity had earned its place as leaders, and that was just the beginning.